What's up, YouTube? How's it going? This is Qazi from cleverprogrammer.com. Today, we're going to be talking about day one of the React Challenge, which is going to be Front-End Developer Guide, okay? Front-End Developer Guide, that's what you're going to be learning because let's be honest, we all want to become developers. And if you become a front-end developer, I mean, that's the fastest path to becoming a developer. You know, between 90 to 180 days, if you work hard and you don't slack off, you can actually get a job as a developer. And so we're going to talk about the exact roadmap, how you can step by step get to that level and get a job. If that sounds exciting, drop it in the comments or the chats or somewhere. Let me know you're excited. And with that said, let's just get right into it. So I'll share my screen with you guys and because we have a lot of amazing things prepared for y'all.
Hey, what is up, everybody? By the way, my name is Nas, guys. If you guys don't know me, we're here to bring you some amazing knowledge on how to become a front developer. Let's get started.
Beautiful. So here's a front-end developer guide for 2021, you guys. So, oh yeah, 2022. We're apparently in the future, so that's incredible. Right. That's incredible. Okay, cool. Let's rock and roll about this guide. Okay. So yeah, smash that like button and subscribe, okay? Be smart, do the right thing. It'll help us out a lot. So let's go over what is the agenda, guys. Day one, which is today, okay? Today, Wednesday, and this challenge will end on Sunday. So day one, we're gonna be doing the front-end developer guide and exactly what you can do to crush it next year, because the next year is upon us, right? It's almost here. Day 2 through 4, so day 2, 3, and 4, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be building the Uber clone with Next.js, React.js, Tailwind, and Firebase.
Yes, this is the sauciest, okay, the sauciest clone you'll build, right? Between technologies like React to Next.js now, guys, which is like the new up and coming, React.js technology that a lot of people are learning and a lot of companies are getting into.
Yes.
We're building, an amazing application that looks beautiful. You'll learn how to design. You'll learn how to build something from scratch is the most important thing.
Yes.
And you will also be able to put that on your portfolio.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned for that one.
Remember, this is a 5-day challenge, you guys. So day 1 through 5, we're going to be bringing you massive value. For everybody that's on Zoom with us, turn on your cameras. We want to see all of your beautiful faces. I'm looking at you guys, and I love seeing that. Albert keeps waving. I love it. Day 5, your roadmap to becoming a front-end developer in 90 days. Who here would like to learn how you can get the skills to become a front-end developer in 90 days? Give me a raise of hands. Beautiful. We have a ton of people.
And we're not talking about 4 years here or 4 years of college. No, we're just talking about 90 days because if you learn the right skills, right, the right technologies, you can get things done a lot faster.
Absolutely. And I just want to keep prefacing this with a huge disclaimer, the huge disclaimer of hard work, okay? So that is what it is dependent on. Your hard work, blood, sweat, equity, right, towards your dream of becoming a developer. So let's get rocking and rolling. Now, this is what we're going to be doing on day 2 to 4, right? This is what you're going to be building. This is going to be the login page you're going to build. You're going to build a home page. You're going to build this page, and then you're going to build the confirm ride page. So guys,
how good does this look, right? I mean, look at this. We've got, by the way, the login is not just login. The login is sign in with Google. So, you'll actually be able to click on it. It will give you a Google prompt. You'll select your email. And then once you get to the home page, you can see on the right-hand side, it will actually have your username and your profile picture, right? So it knows who you are at this point. And then you can click ride or, 2 wheels, whatever you want to click on. You can actually enter a real address, and then it will plot those 2 addresses and then calculate what is the price for an Uber ride for those between the 2 addresses. That is pretty cool, I would say.
Absolutely. So we're going to make sure that you have all of that, okay? Now, if you're a complete beginner, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to be way in over my head. That's okay. We're going to take it slow. We're going to build it step by step. You're going to have the recorded video to watch. And even if you feel a little bit like, oh my God, this is overwhelming, we have a whole community around you to help you. But remember, if you take this project and you put it on your portfolio, man, it's going to make your portfolio look so damn good, right? It's going to make it look so damn good. Also, we're going to be giving you a free portfolio. Who would like a free portfolio tonight? Raise your hands. Nice. Okay. Amazing. So we're going to be giving you a portfolio, and our goal is that over the coming days, when you build this Uber project, you can put it on your portfolio. Okay, that's our goal, and we're going to be giving all of this to you for free. Okay,
that's right. And so later on, guys, when you actually finish the project, you're able to put it on your portfolio, and and then give it out to potential recruiters.
Yes, exactly. We've had this happen where multiple times where students will build a project just from watching our videos, will put it on their portfolio, and there's so many times they'll either get recruiters to hit them up, they'll get interviews, and some of them have even gotten jobs. So all I ask for you, whoever's watching this right now on YouTube and on Zoom, please take it seriously, okay? Because we're going to give you our 110%. We would really appreciate if you're like, hey, I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity. Sounds good, guys?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Let's keep going. So stick to the end of day 5. We have something special coming up for you. Okay, this is going to be absolutely incredible. We've been working on this program for a while, and our goal is to be able to release it on that day for you guys. So it's going to be something awesome. It's going to be super valuable, and that's kind of all we're going to say about it, and we'll let you know on day 5. Cool. Let's keep going. So let's get started with today's training. Okay, and what we're going to be doing. So let's start off with this. This is according to Glassdoor. Here is an average front-end developer salary. Okay, an average front-end developer makes $87,000 a year. Who here would like to be making $87,000 a year?
Yeah, I mean that's not bad. That's a pretty good living, right? They say an average, a person who can make around $90,000. That's like your epic happiness in terms of, especially like for one person, in terms of being able to afford a lot of different things.
Right.
But just to be clear, right, guys, this is, yes, it says $87,000. That's great. But, that's not for everybody, right? It really depends on where your location is. If you live in somewhere like California, it's a lot higher, right? If you live somewhere, for example, that's much cheaper, it might be even lower, right? So just to be clear, it varies, right?
It varies, and it varies on your skill level and all of those things, right? So junior developers might make $40,000 or $30,000 a year. But let me ask you guys this, right? One of the things that's super important for everybody to know and be aware of is like, look, we're all at a different level, right? But what's your level of happiness where you feel happy? Not everybody needs to make 6 figures. Like, I don't need to be a billionaire for me to be happy. So for you guys, what's your threshold like of where you feel like you'll be living a peaceful life that you enjoy, and that's the number that makes you happy? Drop that in the comments below, and I want to see that. And don't let other people persuade you, right? For some of you might be like, hey, if I just make literally $28,000 a year working as a developer remotely while being a digital nomad in Bali, like that's the freaking dream.
That's not bad at all. I want to do that too.
Right? So drop your numbers below, and I want to see where you guys are at. Some of you might be like 46,000. Some of you will be like 6 figures. But just stay true to yourself. So I'm going to start seeing it in the chats coming through.
150K. We've got somebody is 60K, 165K. Somebody says 500K. Damn, Dallas. That's pretty good. That's pretty good,
Yeah. Beautiful.
We've got
Beautiful.
Abdullah says 70K. Carlos says 165K.
Yes.
Louis says 80K. Rena says 70K. See, so like this.
Peter on YouTube says 90K. Brian says just enough, 90K. Micro says around 100K would be good. Okay, beautiful. So look, everybody has a different goal. That's totally fine. Like, look, if you're working at Netflix, those guys are making like 200 to 300,000 a year, but it's not easy to get at Netflix, right? You have to be really freaking good to get at Netflix. So again,
and sometimes too, at the same time, like, people just don't want to work at a big company like that. Like, I know someone, who I personally have worked with previously, who's worked like even Amazon, right? I know him personally, and he's like, yeah, man, I went to Amazon, I worked with them for like 2 weeks, and then I just quit.
Yeah.
Just didn't like it, so it really depends. The most important thing here, guys, is just learn the skill. This skill that you will be learning here in terms of developer skill, that is, you can take that anywhere. No matter what you want, that is the value here.
If you get really good, you can even take it to the bank. Let's move on. So here is Indeed, right? And I'm going to try to move faster through some of these. So there's tons of job openings. My goal to show you this is not just to go, oh my God, you're going to become rich like tomorrow. My goal is to just show you guys that there's a lot of opportunity regardless of even what's going on the planet right now. If you learn these skills, they are not just for today, but they're for tomorrow and the day after that and the year after that, because coding and development is not going away. And even with the whole new space of NFTs and blockchain and crypto and all of that craziness is happening, we're seeing some of our coding bootcamp students, like Joshua, who I interviewed a few days ago. He came to our coding bootcamp and he ended up landing a job at a crypto company. And that company is called Tellor, Tellor. And so there's tons of opportunity, right? Like even that space is going to need developers for tomorrow, and that space is blowing up. But yeah, I mean, it's like tons of job openings are available right this second for front-end developers. So this is just to show you guys like, hey, there's a lot that's happening here.
And it will keep growing. That's the coolest part about it too.
Absolutely. Now let's touch base on the differences between front-end and back-end, okay? So front-end and back-end, like, you know, there's so much jargon. Have you guys ever heard of front end and back end? You know, I know there's some people who are intermediate. I know some people are beginners. So Jeff says that he has. Dakota says that he has. Cool. We're seeing a lot of text messages coming in. Yes, 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 yes. Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. So basically, you know, it seems like you guys are aware of it. But in simple terms, front end is all the pretty stuff that you see, that's visible, or that you feel when you click things and click buttons. And backend is like, think about Google search algorithm, how it's able to like quickly find all these things. Or when you go to Instagram and how all the posts are stored somewhere, right? Like when you refresh Instagram, it's not like all the posts just vanish. They're still there.
Exactly. That would not be a good user experience otherwise, I would say that.
Yeah, it's like, hey, all the posts vanish every single time. So now you might be asking, what do I need to know to become a front-end developer in 2022? So let's talk about it. Have you guys ever seen any graphs like this, by the way? You know, when you think about becoming a front-end developer, either raise your hands or drop it in the chat or show it somewhere. Anybody seen those?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Alejandra Gomez is a bootcamp grad. Nice. Did the front end track. So we got a ton of people that have seen graphs like this, okay? But let me tell you guys something. Naz, what would you say about graphs like this? And let's keep it PG because we don't want YouTube to demonetize us.
I think they are beep.
Nice. Thank you. We do our own editing, you guys.
Is that PG enough for you?
So a lot of these graphs are not a representation of reality, okay? Yeah. And that's like a understatement. You know, if I could be off of this, I would say it in a much more harsher way or whatever. But like, this is not really the reality, right? Like, for example, I don't even know what this thing stylus is, but like I'm a developer.
Yeah. And the thing is like, everybody says that's what you all need to learn, all these different things to actually get a job. And to a lot of people, I know to a lot of you guys probably it feels like that. Like, if I don't know all these things, I can't get the job done, right? But the thing is, that's not the case, right? Even if you know just one little tidbit of that structure, of that graph, right? Even just one little tidbit, that already is a value for the company. It already gives you the value to be able to go out to companies and to provide value to them, right?
Yes.
So this graph, yes, it's immense, and there's probably people who know all this stuff as well, right? But to actually be able to get into this space, this is not what you'll have to learn.
Right.
And we actually have a much better perspective on this.
So for example, right, like if you're looking at this, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, it's like, look, jQuery is already like pretty outdated. I mean, there's still some companies using it, but like you can get jobs without ever knowing jQuery. Without ever writing that weird $ looking thing that I used to have to write. And I used to think it was awesome.
Yeah. Like you don't, for example, I learned jQuery probably like 3 years or 4 years into my coding career personally, honestly. Like,
right. So it's like, so when Naz is saying you need to know a little bit of it, like for example, you might not need to know all this testing and all this other stuff. But like if you know JavaScript really freaking well, you can actually go and get jobs.
True.
Right?
True.
If you know JavaScript and if you know certain things on top of it, but as a front-end developer, like certain things that are going to be key when I think about it is I'm thinking HTML, CSS, JavaScript, right? I'm thinking like you probably need to know, so CSS allows you to style. We'll talk about that later. Pick any of these. Like you might just need to know one of these, like Bootstrap. Okay.
Right.
And with just even those few things I talked about, you can build a lot of things. You can build full-on front-end websites.
Yeah, and there's, for example, even like, a student of ours, our student who's actually here, asked like, well, somebody has told me that you need to learn TypeScript before you learn JavaScript, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not even the case, right? Most companies don't even care if you learn TypeScript, honestly. Like I didn't even know TypeScript until probably 2 years ago, and I've been coding for the past 10 years, right? So, it's like a nice to have. Like you have to look at what the core things you need to learn that really teach you the coding perspective, right? It's like I like to think about it's about building a house. It's like when you build a house, you have to build the foundation.
Yeah.
Right. And so in our cases, there's only a few foundations that you need to learn, but then you can have all the nice decorations, all the beautiful things, all the colors. You can paint your walls as much as possible. That's the other stuff that's not as important, And we'll talk about exactly what is that core moving forward.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's keep on going. It was so slick. Amanath asked me to make him the co-host, and it was so smooth how I did it, and I just transitioned back to Zoom. Like, that was cool. All right, let's keep going. Boom, exactly. Yeah, that transition. That's the exact thing that came to my mind.
That's just what happened, how you transitioned. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's keep on going. So now let's simplify the process so it becomes easier for every single one of you, okay? I'm looking at the YouTube comments as well, and they're like, JavaScript is the cake. If you have the foundations, employers want the cake. Then the framework, styling, and projects are the cherry most interviews will see if you have JavaScript down. So Lax Lifter said this on the YouTube, and yeah, that's money, what he just said. Okay, so now it's like, let's talk about what's your end goal, all right? And it's get a job as a front-end developer. That was awesome. That was so cool. That was
the way it just kind of
nice animation, Amanath. Guys, Amanath made these slides. Let's give it up for him. I don't care if you're on mute. Just give it up. Give it up. I want to see people clapping. There we go. We got Fabio and Anthony and Albert and everybody. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Beautiful. Yeah, Amanath, thank you.
Just say, Amanath, you're amazing in the chat, guys.
Yeah, you're the man. Look, Paul Gonzalez said, I just graduated from General Assembly about 2 weeks ago. I'm already getting interviews and rejections to go along. To anyone reading this who is planning on moving into a career into the space, listen to what they're saying right now. Then he went on and said other things which are really hard to read because we got so many messages coming through. But yeah, awesome. Congratulations, by the way. And yeah, if you stay at it.
Most importantly, he's saying, like, learn one language and learn it well. Don't get caught up in the tutorial hell. Get strong with the basics, and that will help you so much. That's the most important thing he's talking about.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree. Any one of you that wants to join Zoom, guys, tomorrow we're going to be doing it again. Day 2, 3, 4 of the challenge, and 5. Click the link in the description. Amanath, can you please on YouTube put a link to the challenge page so people can sign up? So then tomorrow you can get an invitation to jump into the Zoom. Cool. Let's rock and roll. Okay. So tons of opportunities here, right? Front-end developer. Like, okay, I'm going to rapid fire through this. Who here would like to work as a remote developer making potentially $50 an hour? Raise your hands. Cool. Okay. So we have some people who would like to work as a remote developer. Who here would like to work as a salary? Okay. I want to talk about guys' lifestyles too. Like, how would you want to do it? So between a remote developer and a full-time developer in person, which side do you guys feel like you fall on? Freelance, remote, nice salary, remote dev. Okay, let me ask you another way. Full-time versus freelance. I want to start seeing chats coming through. Full-time versus freelance.
Or maybe you want to try both.
Full-time, freelance, full-time.
Or maybe you want to try both.
Yeah. Can we get polls going? Thank you for the donation on YouTube. If you want me
to do a poll, you have to make me a host, bro, unfortunately.
But
don't make me a host, because if you make me a host and you can't share, it's a whole debate.
Okay, cool. No, it's all good. You made someone else a co-host and not me. Oh, lol. So maybe I was not as smooth as I thought I was. Okay.
Who is the co-host?
My bad. I'll find them. I don't know. I'll give up. That's fine.
I'll make fun of the co-host. I got you. Yeah.
So it seems like we have a split between freelance and full-time. Even on YouTube, we have freelance and full-time. Makes sense. It's all good. Both are really, really great. One is more about safety. So, when you think freelance, I think freelance, you have to be a little bit more, if you're risk averse, then full time is probably going to be better because there's less risk. You have essentially one client that's guaranteeing that you're going to have a job with them for a extended period of time. Freelance, they can use you, and then they can, if they don't need you for the next month, then that's that. But you get to kind of be your own boss. So there's both sides to it. Cool. Yeah, and then there's tons of opportunities, right? I'm just showing you guys this so you guys see again what's possible, okay? This is not so you'll get this tomorrow. That's not what this is about.
Yeah, no. Definitely here the key here, guys, is patience.
You need to start coding and start applying. So what does this mean? Let's dive in, okay? Let's talk about the fundamentals. So when it comes to the fundamentals, most people are, there's all kinds of confusion going on the internet. We're kind of part of that confusion on the internet too, which is like we're showing you, all these like hot frameworks and amazing things. And I think that's cool, right? I think there's a lot of bells and whistles there. It catches people's attention. It's exciting. Yeah. But like you guys came here for the truth, so we want to give you that, So like the real thing is learn these 3 things that are in front of you really freaking well. And these 3 things are, 1, can you guys actually tell us? So number 1 is, I'm going to give you 5 seconds.
What do you guys think? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is HTML.
HTML. The second one is CSS. And the third one is JavaScript. Beautiful. So these are the 3 things. And if you just learn these extremely well, you can have a lot of job opportunities available. Because even if you listen to like Naz's story, right? And we don't have to get into the whole thing, but like he got a job doing React, and he actually didn't know any React at the time. It was like he was a Python developer, but just a really good Python developer.
Yeah. I was just a really good developer in general, in terms of I knew my core knowledge, right? I knew how to solve problems. That's the key here, right? And then because of that, I literally told the employer, like, listen, I am not going to be your React developer. I'm not a React developer yet, but I will learn it all of it fast. And most importantly, I could just solve a lot of problems for you. So with that said, even though I failed all of his exams, all of his tests that he gave me, I still got the job somehow. So there you go.
Yeah, seriously. So the main thing was that he failed the test, right? But he knew coding. He failed the React tests because he didn't know React, but they still hired him, and they were able to teach him React because React builds on top of the fundamentals of core computer science and programming concepts. And that Naz knew really well. Okay. So does that make sense, guys? Like that understanding the core concepts and fundamentals is like the main thing, right? And everything on top of it is like cherry. Does that make sense? Can I get a thumbs up if that makes sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Tammy, thumbs up. Chris, beautiful. Melissa, Fabio. Okay, nice. Awesome. Anthony, beautiful.
Garcia in the chat. Gracie says, DevOps queen here. Just be a quick learner. You all got this. Love these vids. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Beautiful. And Lax Lifters commented, and he said, companies will also pay you to learn. If you have solid fundamentals, your first 2 months can be paid training, right? So that's huge. So when we talk about what these things are, when we talk about HTML and we talk about CSS and we talk about JavaScript, and sometimes it's confusing for people like what these things actually are, HTML is really just the structure. So you can think of it like the skeleton, okay? It's like your skeleton, what makes your body, all right? So it's the tables and the head tags and the H1s and the H2s, if you guys have looked into it. This is what the structure overall is. So when you go to a landing page, where's the headline? Where's the call to action button?
Exactly. Now your CSS, for example, is like your clothes, right? So for example, Peter, right? You've got the headphones. I'm guessing you probably have got, you've got a shirt on, everything. That's your CSS, right? It is what kind of, that's the things you put on yourself, right? Now, that's kind of, I know if you compare it to a website, that's how a website looks beautiful. Otherwise, it will look like, I don't want to say it, but crap, right?
Yeah.
Now, the JavaScript portion, however, the JavaScript portion, that is your movement, right? That's your dancing. You know, you're dancing, you're having fun, you know. It is your brain that tells everything what to do. So if you're going to a website, for example, right, and on the website you click on buttons or you see some things happening, you see interactions, right? For example, when you go to Google, you type in your search, and then you click Google search, and then you have the search results. All of that's happening through JavaScript, guys, right? So
yes,
there's a JavaScript portion of it.
Yep. So that's the JavaScript portion, and that's what adds the dynamism. That's when you click things and they load fast. When you're on Instagram, right, and you're scrolling, and like when you go all the way to the bottom, it does this little loading thing, right, and it loads more. You don't have to like click a button and go to the next page. That's like a fancy JavaScript concept, you know, and it's like a web development concept, which is known as like lazy loading. And so that's where JavaScript and more dynamic things are coming into play. Okay, when you hit the heart button or you double tap a post on Instagram and it hearts it, that's JavaScript. Okay. So cool. I guess let me ask you guys these, okay? And you tell me which one it is. Is it HTML, CSS, or JavaScript? So when you're on Instagram, okay, and the background of a page is colored white. Okay, it's colored white or it's colored black. Let me know what that is. Okay, nice. Okay,
hey,
cool.
A lot of people responding. Good job.
Let me ask you something else. So that's just a great job on that. Okay.
No, that's CSS. Let's make sure we give the actual thing. Yeah.
Yes.
CSS, guys. That's correct.
That's CSS for
everybody. Good job, guys. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. Now let me ask you guys this. Okay, if you go on to those like old professor sites. That they would put up their homework for like a CS 151 class, and it's like 1990s. You know, what is that mainly? Yes. So we got a ton of people saying it. HTML.
Like those old CSS.
Sam says MySpace.
That's so true.
Okay.
No, I've actually got a trick one for you guys. Okay. Yes, that's right. It is HTML. I've got a trick one for you. You know how sometimes when you go somewhere, let's just say you go on Instagram or even go to Google, and you have like a loading icon, like it's like loading, it's like turning. It's like turning, right?
Yeah.
So it's doing something. What do you guys think that is? Because that's a trick question. Oh, it is a trick question. Because a lot of people are saying it was JavaScript, but actually it could be JavaScript, but actually it's even CSS, because with CSS you can actually make things turn as well. So
yeah, we're tricking them now a little bit. Nice, but yeah, exactly. So that one is a little tricky one. So I like that one. Now let me ask you guys another one. When you guys, let's say, like a post, right, or you delete a post on Instagram, what is that? Is that HTML, CSS, or JavaScript happening? Boom, we just got so many JavaScripts coming through. Beautiful. Awesome. So great. So you guys are, hopefully getting a little bit of understanding of where they work and what's happening. So if you said JavaScript, that was absolutely right. Let's move on. So when we talk about HTML, this is what HTML looks like, okay? This is just HTML. So it's HTML here. And then, this is a heading. Which line of code is this coming from? Say the number of the line in here that is coming from. Boom.
Even I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Shit. I see it now.
Beautiful.
Guys, it is not number 6. You are wrong on this one.
Nah, he's lying.
Just kidding.
Yeah, he's trying to trick you guys. So there you go. It is number 6. Okay, beautiful. So line number 6 is getting you this. Okay, now what is getting you this? This is a paragraph. I mean, this should be really easy, so you guys should say it very fast. Beautiful. This is coming from line 7. Okay, line 7 gets you this. Okay, very simple. All of the other stuff is just for fun. Just kidding. So that's kind of the overall structure of a HTML thing. In the start, it can look like a little intimidating, but once you get used to it, that's how HTML thing is usually structured. Cool.
That's right.
Okay. Awesome. let's go on to looking at a few more things, okay? So here is, we have some HTML inside of like JavaScript, or we have some styling going on here actually, right? So take a look at this. Do you guys notice where the HTML is with those tags here? With the tags like that? Right? So this is all HTML. Now let me ask you guys this. What do you think this part is? Beautiful.
Yeah, that's right. It is the CSS. That's right. But there's a specific, who can tell me the specific word? What type of CSS? Because there is actually a type of CSS. What type of CSS is this one? Oh, looks like we got, who got this?
Oh, fancy.
Amin got this. Anthony got this. That's right. Mridula got this.
Yes.
Benjamin got this. That's right.
Nice.
It's called inline CSS, guys. That's
yes,
right.
Exactly.
Because it's in line with actual HTML. Yep. Usually you'd have CSS outside in a different file called a .css file.
Yes.
In this case, it's in line with CSS, with HTML.
And another question, okay?
Oh, damn.
This ugly green background, which line of the CSS is getting us this? Which line on the page is getting us this? Beautiful. I'm seeing a lot of people come through. Yes, so line 7 gets us this. Okay, cool. So it seems like you guys understand that, okay? And the font style, where's the font style coming from? Real quick, what line? Beautiful. So line 7 was the background, and line 6 is the font. So good job, everybody. Nice. Okay.
Damn, they're all pros, bro. What are we doing here?
Yeah, you guys teach it. We're leaving. We're out. Cool. So that's what's happening here, okay? So the console log, so this is now JavaScript, okay? This is the simplest JavaScript thing you could ever run. Console log hello, and it says hello, okay? That's just JavaScript. That's all that's happening here. Okay, let's move on. Now, you might be wondering, like, where can I learn these technologies? Of course, some of you have already mentioned different resources. Somebody said LinkedIn Learning. There are a bunch of other resources that you can go online. One of the resources we would recommend that you check out is we have tons and tons of content on YouTube. It's absolutely free. Enjoy it, watch it. It's hours and hours of training. So you guys can go and bookmark it. Devlin says, such a pretty face. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That boosts my self-esteem, so thank you. In the last picture, I'm very sad. I don't know why, but I'm really sad in the last one. But I promise you, it's a very exciting free course on JavaScript, okay?
People love that still, even though you're sad,
Yeah, yeah.
I think maybe you're sad because you had to spend a lot of time making it.
Yeah,
just really tired at the end of the day.
The reason why I'm actually sad is I did a thumbnail A/B test, and this thumbnail where I was sadder won compared to the other thumbnails. So I don't know why YouTube did that, but that's the real truth, okay?
Yeah.
So it was just so we can get more clicks on this, so we can teach more people online, okay? So yeah, there we go. Cool. So check out those resources. Now, did you guys know JavaScript completed its 9th year in a row as the most commonly used programming language, according to Stackoverflow?
No way. Really?
Flex.
That is Flex. JavaScript needs to have an NFT. JavaScript needs to have
don't say this out loud, bro. We need to launch these NFT projects outside of class. No, this is a great idea. If somebody wants to take that, go for it. JavaScript NFTs would be awesome.
I agree with that one.
So going through this, right? This is, according to Stack Overflow, one of the most favorite technologies of most developers, and this is from 58,000 responses, is JavaScript, right? And then right behind is HTML, CSS. Okay. Now I know somebody's gonna be commenting, but that's not a programming language. I don't want to fight you. I don't care. I love you. If you're watching this, I love you. Regardless of...
Oh, God, you're wrong. It's not. No, this is not right. You're not doing this rightly. No.
Yeah, look, JavaScript is a programming language. HTML and CSS are not programming languages. There you go. Okay. All right, cool. Now, what's next? All right. You need to learn a front-end framework on top of JavaScript. So that's why we're talking about React and teaching you guys these things, okay? So frameworks, there's the React logo. Frameworks are very simple. do you guys want to take a shot at what a framework is? Drop it in the comments or chat and let me know what you think a framework is. Okay, let's see if you know.
Like, what is it, guys? Don't give us the frameworks, but what are
Right,
they?
I know people in the comments also, they're going to be like, React is a library, and I knew that. But like, I know people are going to be going crazy about that. But just give me what a library / framework is, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Gracie was like, yeah, they're on it.
I actually like it. Gracie was like, it's code that's been written for you. That's actually not a bad explanation.
Yeah, so I see a lot of your guys' like explanations coming in. That's great. Somebody says set of rules, library, reuse code, templates, consolidated code. Yeah, I like it. A lot of it is, I mean, I love that Gracie explanation. It's so simple. It's code that's written for you essentially. And then it makes your life a lot easier. So if you use React, it makes it so much easier to do the things that you want to do compared to like when you try to do it with just vanilla JavaScript. It's much, much harder actually. And so React will make your life way easier, you know. That's why we recommend it. There are other frameworks out there too, like Angular, Vue.js, and you can learn all of those. There's Svelte, which is really good. There's Ember, Alpine.js, and a ton of others, okay?
Yes.
But according to Stackoverflow Survey, React.js is now the most popular web framework, surpassing even jQuery. So it's taken it over, okay? So it's the most popular framework, and that's kind of why we want to cover it, because I think it'll help the most amount of people. And why do we, because a lot of people are like, why do you guys care so much about popularity? Because we care about your results and
job demand.
And job demand, right? Like we could be teaching you Svelte. It's pretty cool and it's pretty fun, but not all these jobs are going to be like hiring for Svelte. So then your like pool becomes a lot smaller and it becomes much more competitive. Whereas like React, there's way more demand than there's like supply of developers. And so we want to like help you and produce more developers that fulfill that demand, if that makes sense.
You know what's funny? Actually, I started out with Angular when I was first starting out with in web development, and then I actually moved to React because I had a few more job offers that were in React.js. So there you go.
Okay, I see. So, you love money. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So no, that's smart. That's smart. And I mean, for most developers, right, your career matters. Like you work for money, right? That's the whole point. You're exchanging your time for a dollar currency value. So you might as well, do it in a beneficial way.
Yeah, of course.
Cool. So web frameworks, right? Here we have all these web frameworks, and React is the number one, as you guys can see. So it's a good one that you guys should learn, should use. And if you're a complete beginner right now, it's like, hey, just focus on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then learn React on top of it. That's going to be the best path for you to kind of learn all this. Okay. Now, here are the companies, right, that are using these types of, that are using JavaScript and React. And Airbnb, Instagram, Facebook, Skype, Netflix, Dropbox, and Twitter, and the list just goes on. So they're massive companies that are powered by these technologies.
Yeah, especially, all these technologies technically even use React.js, right? So, between Facebook to Dropbox and Netflix, in some sort of way, they're using that technology either on their front-end website, right, or even in their application. For example, if you guys know Tesla, anybody here know Tesla? Tesla, anybody?
Yeah, there we go. Nathaniel.
Yeah, there you go, right? So
everybody,
Tesla, of course, it's a car company, right? But if you guys don't know, but their main application, right, that you use on your phone to actually even open your car, like literally you can, the phone opens your car, it's the key to your car. It's using, for example, React technology. It's using something called React Native.
Yeah.
Right? So that right there is just such a big opportunity. If you learn the technology, you can use it in so many places.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Facebook invented React.
Yeah.
But what is Facebook? I don't even know what that is. It's not a company. Yeah, it's Meta.
It's Meta now. It's not Facebook.
Yeah, it's Meta. What were you guys like? How did you guys feel about the Mark Zuckerberg's like announcement on it? Like, were you guys excited, or were you guys mostly like creeped out? Like, what was your guys's?
Yeah, saying it's not Facebook no more. It is Meta.
Confused,
yeah, I think it's
creeped
out.
All right. Damn. What do you? I mean, okay, hold on. What do you guys think about what we're sharing with you so far? Please be nice. I love it. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Anthony is like 10 stars.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, we're gonna keep rocking and rolling, so you guys keep getting more and more value. Okay, so now let's talk about your next steps. Ha. Okay. You guys are gonna get what I mean in a little bit. Some of you have already probably gotten that. Okay, cool. So learn a CSS preprocessor / framework. Okay, so there's other types of things you could use with CSS. So for example, Tailwind, the logo that we just popped up at the top left, is a really nice thing to learn and have an understanding of, because it'll make writing your CSS a lot easier. And it won't just look like your website is made out of Bootstrap. So it'll be nice from a design perspective and making your design more unique. The next thing that you can learn is Bootstrap. Okay, so that's also really good. Sass, bunch of other stuff. Styled components, which are super awesome when you're using React. They make your code so much easier and easier to read. And you don't need these extra CSS files. That's personally how I like to code in React. I don't like to have all these extra CSS files. I haven't even used a CSS file in a while, actually. With React, my JavaScript, HTML, and CSS essentially just live in one JavaScript file. So it's just really nice, and it makes it easy for me to process.
And you guys will actually be able to see that, starting tomorrow, because we will be using one of these technologies, Tailwind CSS, together with kind of a style components, to put CSS into your JavaScript. So it's going to be really cool. It's probably something you haven't seen before. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I heard somebody said Fang is now changed to Manga because Facebook is now Meta. Oh, snap, son. We got Frank in the house. Frank Ramos just dropped a $20 donation. Yo, guys, let's give it up for Frank Ramos. Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate it. Wow. We got
how his donation is $19.99.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Much love and nice seeing you after a while. All right, cool. I'm happy about that. Here is Material UI. Material UI is a great one to learn as well. You don't have to learn all of these, by the way. Just a few of them are pretty good. For example, if you want to just pick up Tailwind, you can just pick up Tailwind. Now, word of precaution for all of you, for people who are beginners, which are a majority of you on this call, just learn CSS first, okay? Just learn CSS first. Watch my battle with Nas. No, I'm kidding. Just learn the basics of CSS and then build on top of it, okay? Just remember how JavaScript, you learn JavaScript and then you learn React on top of it. Just learn CSS first and then learn any of these other things on top of it. Because if you try to just go to styled components without learning CSS, you're going to be very confused. Or if you go to Tailwind, you're going to be very confused because you'll be like, oh, this nice thing. I can just write in PX-10. But you won't understand that that's padding, horizontal or padding vertical, whatever, 10. And you'll be like, what's padding? Go to CSS to learn that. So I think the better way to learn is learn CSS first.
Yeah. And then all these other things will be a lot easier for you guys to understand.
Absolutely. Next up, my beautiful people, is going to be learning Git version control. Okay.
This one is so important, guys. So important, right? So any developer, when you go into any job, they will expect you guys to learn this, right? And anybody here knows what exactly is it and what is it used for? I'm curious. Put that on the chat, right?
And what I would recommend is you guys take notes on it, because I think this is going to set you up for the rest of the year, actually. So make sure that if you weren't already, bring a notebook or something and write it down so you're not distracted, and take notes on this so you have this exact outline with you. Right. Anthony just got up to get his book or notebook. Albert just got up. Nice. Cool, yeah.
Looks like Ruben is doing something there too. So yeah, awesome. That's beautiful. Nice job, man.
Ruben already has it. Ruben came prepared. Nathaniel came prepared. Let's go. Sam came prepared. Nice.
He's always prepared.
Yeah. Sorry,
Damilola says, Git was used to see different versions of your code remotely. That's actually a really good way. It's kind of like, Qazi, you say it, so I'm gonna steal your line.
Yeah.
But
that's fine.
But it's like Dropbox for coding, right? It's like Dropbox for your code.
Yes.
Right? Imagine if you were to work, for example, if you were to work with Joe, for example, right? You guys might work on the same project, but how do you keep that project in check, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Ruben, you're working on the login page. Joe, you're working potentially on the home page, right? You need to have some sort of way where you guys sync those projects together. Well,
yes,
and it comes in Git and GitHub.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is what Nas said is like really just on the money, right? I think he said it brilliantly. And the way it's just like what Nas said also is it's a time machine. And if you messed up, if you're like, just imagine, I'll start with the simplest way of it, right? It's a time machine for your code, and it allows you, if you guys, anybody here plays video games, raise your hands, and you've experienced what a checkpoint is, right? So in video games, you have these checkpoints, and you can save, and then you can come back, and you can even roll back sometimes to different checkpoints. Mm-hmm. So it's like that for your code. You could have different checkpoints, and then you're like, oh, my app is just now, like, let's say you build the login page, and now all of a sudden your app just broke. Well, you can just go back in time to when it wasn't broken anymore, and then start from there again. Mm-hmm. And what Nas said, allows you to collaborate and build things together with other developers. Okay, so it's going to be really important to learn. Just make sure you have it in your roadmap. Like, Git is going to be a key thing to learn. Like, for example, you probably don't need to learn styled components to get a job. But I think like Git is going to be a very important component when you need to get a job, because they're going to want to, be able to see that you can work with other developers. Because if you don't do this, you really can't work with other developers.
Yeah, and Jonathan, for example, said, my problem is understanding how to use it, right? And if you're, of course, sometimes it does feel a bit confusing in how this works, right? Honestly, there's a lot of tutorials that tell you all these things about how to use Git and all these different ways to use Git. But if you just simplify it to 3-4 functionalities, for example, you can write this down, guys.
Oh, I was gonna say this too, actually. That's perfect. Go for it.
Yeah. So, for example, Git push, right? Git pull.
Can I give them in order?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so write this down in this order. This was going to be really helpful, okay? Number 1, Git init. Right?
Frank just made another $50 donation. Let's go,
What
Frank.
the hell? Yo, Frank, let's go. Thank you, brother. Wow, a $50 donation. That is crazy.
And then we got Tamiya, who's giving us a donation. Thank you so much. Much appreciated.
That is amazing. Thank you. I'm getting excited. You guys are giving me so much life. I'm super excited. Thank you, guys. Man, the last few weeks have been tough. So thank you, guys. It means a lot. Means the world. We appreciate you so much. Seriously. Wow, another freaking donation by Dante, and he goes, let's go. Thank you for sharing your valuable knowledge, guys. And he just gave us 200 something.
Mexican. I think it's Mexican. I think it's pesos.
Pesos. Okay.
Yes.
200.
Yes.
Not 200. Yeah, okay. 200 pesos. Yeah, got it. Not 200 Mexicans. 200 pesos. We understand.
I was just like Mexican, like dollars, I just thought, I didn't know how to say exactly say it.
Yeah. Okay, because it's just MX. So thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. So going back to the version control, right? It's really important for you to learn it. So here are the commands. I'm sorry. Let's get back to it. Number 1, Git init. That's number 1.
Yes.
Okay. That will start your Git project in most cases. Okay. Number 2, Git space add space dot. So Git add dot. Okay. Git add dot. All right. That's the second one. The third one is Git commit -m followed by whatever your message is. Okay. So maybe I could actually type it out. It will start to get deleted as I type it out, I guess.
Yeah, that's so weird.
That was weird. Where did my...
you have to click X, click escape. There you go.
Okay, cool.
That's the weird part about...
So how about this? Maybe we can just put it in the chat. So like, let's just put that in the chat. So like git.
Yeah. I'll do it.
Okay, you got it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So yeah,
okay.
so git space commit space -m space just whatever your message is. Okay. Cool. And then that's number 3. And Naz is adding all the 1, 2, right? And make sure the G is lowercase.
Yeah. Sorry, because it does automatically.
Cool. And the 4th one is going to be git push origin master. Okay, git push origin master. I know right now you're like, what the hell are these? Why am I memorizing them? It's not so you can memorize. It's so you can know that that's 99% of Git. Like you do that, you're pretty much good 99% of the times. There's other complicated
donation. Sorry, Furkan. It says, thank you guys for all. I support you from beginning of the road, beginning to end. Big fan. Appreciate all the time and work. Keep up the good work. Woo!
Yo, thank you. Appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Super, super awesome. Yep. So those are the 4 main ones that are going to be absolutely amazing. And then I'm just going to give you like 2 other ones that I think you should just write it down. The reason why I'm giving this to you is here's what's going to happen. You're not going to write them down right now. And you're going to be like, that's fine. I'll learn Git later. You're going to be so freaking confused because whenever you go to look up anything about Git, they're going to just like destroy your brain with so much complexity. And they're going to be like giving you all these commands with all these flags and branches and checkouts and rebasing. And you're like, I don't need to know these things right now. You're like, what are the main things do I need to just be able to do all of this with? That's what I'm giving you. Okay.
Yes.
The last 2 is git clone. Have that written down. That's going to be needed for you. Like that's going to be needed. Okay. So git clone. And then, the last one is git pull origin master. Okay.
Yes.
Git pull origin master. So if you have these 5 or 6 commands that I've given you and you just, you don't have to memorize them, just write them down somewhere. This is it. That's it. Like 99% of what you need to do, you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to like download a project. You'll be able to like write code. You'll be able to commit it, AKA checkpoints. You'll be able to push it. Pushing, all it does is it's just putting it on Dropbox. Okay, or just putting it on, Dropbox of code, which is GitHub. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. GG Ishan in YouTube says you can pretty much learn Git in like an hour. Yeah. Most importantly, guess is just start to use it. Start out simply, but just using it with like something like a Git init, and you'll see right away things happening. You just have to start using it because the hardest thing is there's probably fear in trying to get into it.
Yes,
really right.
That's the biggest thing. You're right, Naz. That's the biggest fear that stops especially beginners. And like you don't want to touch it. I know. Let me ask you, who is afraid of Git? Raise your freaking hands and drop it in the comments. Who's afraid of Git? So many people have this.
Yeah, exactly. See?
Yeah, we got tons of hands going up, right? People saying me. Yeah, Carlos is like, LMAO, me. Daniel says that. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's scary. But like, if you just know that there are like 3 commands, but my work, when I'm actually coding up a project, I'm literally just doing git add git add, git commit, git push, git add, git commit, git push, git add, git commit, git push, git add, git commit, git push. It's like 3 commands. And I'm just doing them again and again and again and again and again for like 10 hours as I'm doing my coding project. Like it's the easiest workflow once you get it. It's just the initial fear that's going to stop you. So my urge to you is like overcome that fear and just like get into it. Those are the few commands that we gave you that are the holy grail of all of Git. And then anything else is just like extra complex stuff that you'll just pick it up as you go.
Agreed.
Cool. So what I want to show you guys is this, okay? Keynote is weird. Is this. So this logo over here, do you guys know which logo this is here on the left-hand side?
Which one is it?
So on the left-hand side, this is...
Good. That's right.
Okay. This is Git. This is Git over here. And what's this logo right over here? Do you guys know? Okay, beautiful. They already knew what I was going to do next. Wow. Beautiful.
They read your mind, man.
Yeah, that was awesome. So this is GitHub. GitHub. They are, let me ask you guys, are they the same thing or are they very similar? Are they like the same thing, Git and GitHub? Git and GitHub are not the same thing. It's a very common confusion that a lot of people have. They are different. Okay. GitHub is Dropbox for your code. The simplest way I can put it.
Git,
it's like Google, or if you don't know Dropbox, like Google Drive for your code. It's like where you're putting your code online.
Yeah, it's like it's the remote, right? While Git, the left-hand side that you guys see, that's your version control. That is what's going to keep track of all the changes. So for example, let's just say you make a small change, you add a button, you make that into a change, it'll keep track of that.
Yes.
Then let's just say maybe you add a background, a background image or a background photo, boom, that's a change, it'll keep track of that.
Yes.
Right? So
absolutely.
it will keep track of those changes locally, so you can always, like time machine, kind of like Qazi said, in terms of a time machine, you can always go back and forth. But in order for other people to use it, right, to see it, right, for example, like the people you work with, then you would push it to GitHub. That's the big differentiation.
Absolutely. Exactly. So let's keep going. And yeah, GitLab is, I see some people talking about GitLab. GitLab is like GitHub. GitLab is like another place like Google Drive where you can put your code. There's Bitbucket too. There's a bunch of places where you could put your code. Okay. All right. Now we're going to get into some more like complicated stuff. So this is like going to be in the next part of your journey. So write this down, guys. It's server-side rendering. Okay. So what the heck is server-side rendering? And here's an example of it. Now, do you want to take a shot at explaining what this is?
Yes, I will take a shot. But before I do that, I'm just want to say thank you so much for Paul for another donation.
Oh, thank you.
You for the helping us change our lives. Of course, that's what we're here for.
Yo, this is sick. We need to be going live at 5 p.m. every day.
I know. I realized that too recently.
This is awesome. Wow.
Beautiful. So server-side rendering, guys, right? With React.js, for example, if you look at, for example, Google, or let's just say you go on Facebook. Okay, when you go on Facebook, anybody here ever see that when you go on Facebook, the first thing that loads is probably your header, and then it kind of loads your post right after. Anybody here see that? Like, did you guys notice that by any chance when you go to Facebook? Well, that's right. That's because, it renders the things, on the client side. That's right. It renders the thing on the client side. So basically, it takes time after your page is loaded to load other things. However, with server-side rendering, it's basically like you are rendering, you're creating all the posts behind the scenes, and then you're just slapping on it for people to see. So it's kind of like, that's right. So in this case, for example, the server, for example, is cooking noodles, right? The actual server, right? Then the noodles are already cooked, and those cooked noodles are already shown to you.
Right? Beautiful.
That's right. Versus, for example, in React.js, right? Not Next.js, you would still be cooking the noodles while you're on the page.
Okay.
You see what I mean? That's the big difference.
So basically, before, it's almost like the client or me, if I'm logging onto Facebook, I'm doing the work of loading it.
Exactly.
Right? Whereas now it's almost like Facebook is doing the work of loading it. Before I even get there, it's ready to go.
Exactly. And the reason why that's so much better is because then pages load a lot faster. Because imagine it's like all your posts have already been preloaded. Yeah. Right? They've already been preloaded. All it is just a bunch of HTML.
Yes.
You show it right away for the user. You see it really fast.
Yes.
And then also, here's a kicker, guys. Listen up to this. It's really cool because then your SEO or Google loves you. Google loves server-side rendered pages.
Yeah.
So that's why the people are starting to head towards that because it increases your optimization. Anybody here knows SEO or what SEO stands for? Raise your hand if you do. Raise your hand if you do. No? No? Okay. So SEO is search engine optimization. Basically, it's like, the better your SEO, the higher up you will show on the actual Google rankings. So instead of your page being shown on the second page of Google, your page will be shown on the first page of Google. Does that make sense, everybody? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Got it? Good job. Awesome, Albert. Thank you. Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
So that is the big difference here, server side. And the crazy thing is that we're actually going to be learning. We're going to be using server-side rendering actually in this Uber clone. So yeah.
So hopefully you guys are excited about that, okay? We're going to try to make it as simple as possible for y'all.
I'm pumped.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Apparently this was a video. Ooh, look at that. Client-side rendering. Oh,
There you go.
yeah. So this is kind of a cool, the way to show it is like before client-side rendering is like you make your own food.
Yeah, see, as I was saying, it's
On the
still
way,
cooking noodles.
all the way on the right-hand side, you're making your own food. Okay. And then on this side, server side, you're coming home to a chef that's making your food and they plate it for you. So basically, the simplest way for you to remember it is server side is nice and it's going to help you and make things faster.
Joe was like, let's make some noodles. I agree with that.
And the types of websites this is better for is where there's a lot of user-generated content. Okay. So if there's user-generated content, it's better to go server-side rendering. If you have a static portfolio website where there's not anything happening and nothing will ever change and it's just set in stone and nobody can add anything new and there's no authentication and there's no, you should go with, let me ask you, which one should you go with? So you have static site option, you have client side option, you have server side option. It's a little bit advanced. If you're a complete beginner, you have no idea, it's totally okay. You're in the right place. Don't worry. I'm just throwing in some things to keep the intermediates a little bit happy, you know? So static site is the way to go. Okay. Yes. Static site is the way to go. Cool. All right. Let's keep rocking and rolling. Okay. So you guys see.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say on the right-hand side, you guys saw how that one was much faster. And on the left-hand side, it's still loading. Right? So like this is the difference here is on the right-hand side, the server has already done the work for you, you know, and then the before one is client side and it's like you're doing the work. So you can see the speed difference. So like, let me ask you guys, right? Which experience would be better? The one on the right-hand side for you or the one on the left-hand side? You know, do you want to wait 1 second to have your app loaded or like 4 seconds? Yep. Boom. We got tons of people saying, right. Yep. Exactly.
Imagine just being on the website trying to wait for it to load for like 10 seconds straight. That's not a good user experience. You'd be like, peace out.
So now the business implications of this, right? If you're a big company, like let's imagine you're Google or Trello or Facebook or some big company, going from 4 seconds to 1 second, how much percentage improvement have you made? Like what X improvement have you made here? I'm not a mathematician and I'm probably just going to round it up to something dumb, but like you've improved it by almost 300 to 400%, right? That's what you guys are dropping in the chat. You've improved 300 to 400%. So if you improve Google or Facebook by 300 to 400%, do you know what you've done?
Well, you improved it by 75% around that.
Or improve it to 75%, right? But it's like, but that reduction is massive.
Massive.
Right? It's massive reduction that you've done. And when you do that and you add that much improvement to something, like now the user retention is going to like almost double for Facebook, you know, or close to that, which means like now they're going to make almost 2 times the money they made or 1.5 times. So it's like a huge increase. These are simplified examples, but there's a huge, like from a business perspective, there's a huge value proposition to being able to do things like this. And I hope that makes sense for you guys.
Yeah. And Sam asked a question, you know, with server-side rendering, does that mean that, you know, on the server, it's going to be a heavy load, as in the people need to spend more money on the server hardware? Well, sometimes, yes, that is the case, but the money spent on that hardware is a lot less than what you will earn, right? As if you spent it, right? You would earn a lot more.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of, because there will be a lot more customers than, you know, of you just spending, you know, some money on some hardware.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good way to put that. So here's the most popular framework that is built on React that allows you to do server-side rendering. And that's the reason why it's blowing up so much. And it's called Next.js. And this is the framework that we kind of referenced a little bit earlier. And you can see over here, it's being downloaded about 1.8 million times. And when that happens, you know that package is hot. There's tons of community around it. It also means there are tons of job opportunities. I mean, not all the time, but most of the times it means like there's tons of job opportunities around this. And now Netflix and a lot of big companies are switching over and starting using Next. And just keep in mind, you still have to learn React. It's built on top of React.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's very interesting, actually. Frank on YouTube said Walmart is implementing server-side rendering, so it helps with a lot of e-commerce stores.
Yes, that's a great one, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Exactly. So Walmart is about to use it as well. And yeah, so let's go ahead. Joe says Next.js is dope. Yes, it is. All right. And now if you're looking for a static, more static framework, is Gatsby. That's a really good one for if you're trying to build like blazing fast portfolio sites and things like that. Gatsby is a good one to keep in mind. Your speed wise, you're probably not ever going to beat it until maybe something else comes out. But if you're doing some simple website that is static, I would highly recommend to look into Gatsby. And then of course there's things like testing your application. So the next step is when your application is done, how do you test it? And testing basically means if you have a login page or you have a page that accepts payments, right? Imagine if you're not testing it constantly. Well, what if it breaks? So let me ask you guys this, right? Imagine you are Kylie Jenner and you just launched your new product and, so many people hit our checkout page. Sometimes it's millions or billions of people hitting our checkout page where it will crash, right? But if you have millions of people hitting your checkout page and imagine it's not working, how much will that cost Kylie Jenner?
A lot.
How much will that cost? It will cost millions. It will cost millions. So let me ask you this. Would it make sense to have something that automatically tests that page constantly, and the second it ever goes down, it alerts you? Right?
Yeah, that's very useful. That's very useful. I actually used it at an old company I used to work with. Yeah, they used all these different testing to make sure that, and we've actually had a lot of times where literally at 5 p.m. At night we got an error where our payment wasn't working.
Yeah.
And we were working on it from like 5 p.m. to like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Right, for 5 hours straight. Like the developers were all just stuck, didn't know what to do. We had to figure out what was how to fix it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some that happens. But it's important that we learn about it faster than later.
Yes, exactly. I agree. So yeah, I mean, there's tons of so on the left-hand side, you have a testing thing called Jest. On the top right, you have Cypress, and you have Mocha, and you have Selenium. Selenium is a popular one. Probably a lot of you have heard it. They're all really good in their own way. I think Cypress is really good for doing like where your mouse is moving and clicking things and opening things. Cypress is pretty good for that. Jest is really good for writing like unit tests. So something to just keep in mind. And again, if you're a complete beginner right now, you don't really need to worry that much about testing. Honestly, you'll be fine. It's just something to have on your roadmap that later you could learn it. Cool? Okay, let's move on. Now, you guys might be wondering, hey, how do I actually improve my front-end skills, right? Like, what do I do next, Qazi, Naz? Like, how do I do it? So
all you do is code. No, I'm just kidding.
So there are a couple of great resources here. And one of the resources here is called Dribble. And this resource is really good and it's Dribble with 3 B's. So that will throw you off, guaranteed. So I'm going to repeat that. It's Dribble with 3 B's. So when you want to type it in, make sure you find the right website. And this website will have like modern designs, websites, and you can use these as inspiration to model something or build a new, whether it's a portfolio or a new website you're building. I think it's a really good idea. Okay. So you could use this for inspiration. So let's do that.
Yeah, and then not necessarily, guys, for copy. You don't have to copy, the actual website, but I have done it where I take, I create something called a mood board. So I take, for example, one image, another idea, and I just put a few things together, and that creates a unique style in itself, right?
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that, right? They always
and you can get an inspiration from it too.
Exactly. That's so it's okay to do that. That's what I want to say.
Yeah. That's smart. Yeah, no, don't copy the exact thing that they have there, but you can use it to kind of model after it or get some inspiration after it. Or if you're going to copy it, you know, you don't have to like make it a public thing. You could just use it to practice and then keep it there and then modify it to be your own.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. So let's keep on rocking and rolling here. So Front-End Mentor. Okay, this is another great service platform you can use. It's free to use. They have a paid version as well, but most of you will be good on the free version. Most of you will be good on that. And they're really good because you can pick. So for example, they even have it broken out by difficulty. So here is a newbie project. Here is a junior project, and here's an intermediate project, right? So you guys can go ahead and pick like a newbie one, and it makes it really easy for you to follow it. They'll even give you all the resources, the graphics you might need, and then you can try to make it look like that. So they have interesting challenges you can do to improve your skill. Okay.
Anybody here, let me ask you guys this question, a very serious question. Have you ever just like tried to build a project and it looked like beep?
Yeah, not that great, huh?
You know, you're like, I do not want to show this to my employer. I do not want to show this to my mom or to my dad or to anybody. You know, you were proud of this. That was great. But, you know, you do not want to show this. This is where, you know, these companies do come in, right? They have designed these things for you because in the day as developers, sometimes sometimes maybe we just don't want to design it, right? And so sometimes maybe you just don't know how to design this kind of stuff. But the more you learn from these designs, the more you build it, you kind of get a momentum on what it takes to build a website. And then actually design just comes to you naturally after a certain point of time. You just have to start building this. And then you'll be building, because imagine this. If you build one project, it looks amazing. Like, for example, you build one project from Frontend Mentor. Now it looks amazing. You're like, holy moly, I just done this. Would you be excited to build the second one? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. And then you build that one, and then would you be excited to build the third one? You're like, wow, it looks so good. Yes, you will, of course. Right?
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do here is you want to create the momentum, and this will allow you to create the momentum. Not only for you to learn, but to build beautiful projects.
Absolutely.
You'll be proud of.
And by the way, guys, we're going to be giving homework at the end of the video or at the end of this training. So stick around because that's going to be really important for you as you compete in this project or in this challenge, okay? 5-day challenge. Cool. So let's keep on going. Where am I clicking? Oh, yeah. Look at that. It's a video.
Amanat, you killed it.
Nice work, buddy. Yeah, so it's a nice website, you know, use it. And another thing you guys can do is be a part of the community, right? So we have a community, which is a verified community, super sick flex, no big deal. Thank you, Amanat, for getting us that green check mark. He worked really hard for it. And, you know, join the Clever Programmer community, guys. It's at cleverprogrammer.com/Discord. Right? Join the community, talk to people, make friends. A lot of you will find lifelong friends. You know, sometimes we have people, they'll make a group and they'll be getting on Zoom calls with each other and coding all day because it can be a lonely journey, right? Like how many of you feel sometimes that it's kind of like alone? You feel alone in this, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That's so true. That's so true.
So this is something that happens a lot of the times when you're coding and because you're not always there with somebody and you feel like, damn, if you're stuck, you're like, definitely don't want to put this question on Stack Overflow and have everybody burn me. So I'll just figure it out. So the whole point of the community is that people are there to help you out with whatever you need, and you're there to provide value to everybody else. Okay?
Yeah.
So
it's so funny. One of our someone you watching on YouTube was like, I gave this video like 100 likes. Like I clicked it like 100. I clicked thumbs up like 100 times. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you guys want, you know, these resources, you know, definitely like Discord is going to be a great place for you to be at, to check that out. And if you have any questions, comment them below and we'll try to take your guys' questions. And now, guys, here is day one of your homework, okay? This is what you're going to need to do if you want to be able to do the Uber challenge tomorrow, okay? So here's what it is. By the way, who wants to build Uber starting tomorrow? Raise your hands. Who wants to build Uber? Yeah. Nice. Nice. Awesome. Yes. So we got everybody going. I see that. Okay. So if you want to do that, please do these things because this is what you will need. So number one, have Visual Studio Code downloaded. How many of you here already have this done? Raise your hands.
Let us know.
What?
Yes, already. Oh, wow. A lot of people. How many of you don't have it done? That's my... Oh, Armando is here. How many of you do not have it done here?
Visual Studio Code. Who don't have Visual Studio Code?
Yeah.
Okay, people putting there.
Also, yeah, no.
So cool. So make sure you download that, you guys, because that's going to be important. Number two, download the portfolio. Here's the link to the portfolio. Amanath, can we please put all this in the description in YouTube so everybody can see this?
Yes, and just to let you know, there will be emails sent out about this, so we'll get all this out to you. Those of you who are on Facebook, the Facebook post will be created.
If you want to be part of the challenge, make sure you're signed up. Yes. Make sure you click the link in the description on the YouTube video if you're not a part of it, because all the resources, everything's going to be super consolidated and sent to you right away. Yep. Cool. Number 4, apparently, look, you don't need to be good at math to become a developer. 1, 2, and 4. Cool. So number 4, install Node.js.
Yes. Yeah, very important, guys. And somebody asked a question of what version. You just need to have the version that's recommended for users. When you go to Node.js, there'll be one that's recommended for users and the one that's with the latest features.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, if you're already signed up, you're good. I was just talking to the people that are not signed up. I'm talking to the YouTube people.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you want the one that's recommended for the most users because that's the one that's truly tested. So click on that one, download it, make sure that's it's all there, because that will actually allow us to to be able to use Next.js and React.js as well.
Yeah, so have that. Make sure you do it. Watch how to use the portfolio video. So here we have a video for you available. Okay. These links, maybe we can drop them in Zoom chat, and also we'll send it to you as an email, and we're going to drop it in Facebook, and we'll drop it in Discord. So it'll be available for you in all these places. Okay.
Just look out. Just that's it. Don't go to sleep and just be like, just don't sleep today. Okay.
Yeah.
Just look out for the stuff.
And if you really want to guaranteed get it as a text message, what you guys can do is, let me put this here. Okay, let's do this. That said, guys, we love your beautiful face. Naz, you want to cue up some music, or hold on, maybe I got you. That's it, guys. Love your beautiful face. See you guys in the next video. Hey, let's go. Woo, everybody, let's give a round of applause for everybody that was here. Thank you guys so much for coming. We appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Love you guys. Take care, guys. Have a good one. Peace.